And hey everybody, and welcome back. Sorry, haven't been doing as many videos as normal. Quite frankly, the channels that I'm involved with have just taken so many hits from ScrewTube. It's really discouraging, quite frankly. It's really discouraging to spend sometimes hours working on a video and put it up and maybe a couple of hundred people see it because you're being suppressed by ScrewTube. It's frustrating, but yeah, I guess squeezing me out is what they want, so here I am again. Anyway, just wanted to touch on the whole train derailment thing that happened in East Palestine in Ohio on February 3rd, right? February 3rd. There's a lot of people are buzzing about that, asking about it, and they're making a lot of accusations about what the railroad should or should not have done, and government involvement, and where's FEMA, and on and on and on and on. And I think it's interesting. First of all, derailments like that happen all the time. It's not uncommon for there to be derailments, okay? It's just that usually you don't hear about it. The reason that you're hearing about it is because they tried to cover it up and made a mess of it. Not the railroad, but the government, with their controlled burn of the chemicals, which normally, as far as I know, that's not a common practice. So why are you trying to burn it? Well, you try to burn it when you don't want people to know what was in there, okay? You're not transporting, it's hazardous material. Oh, we're transporting maybe something that we don't want the public to know about, so let's burn it. Oops, wait a minute, we did too much. Now animals are dying, people are getting sick, locking people in their homes, driving them off. Now the government's involved. They got the National Guard out there, wouldn't let people out of the town. If you've seen some of the interviews with these people. And then they act like they're not interested, because of course if you don't want people to know about something or think about something, you don't talk about it. Which is why racism is suddenly a problem in this country, because they want to showcase every damn thing and have us at each other's throats instead of noticing the real problems. So they tried to not talk about it, but they made too much of a mess of it for that. Then Trump says, I'm going to go down there. Suddenly the government leaps into action. Suddenly we want to talk about it and go down there and sort things out. And then, who is it, transportation director?
Yeah. Booty juice. Booty juice.
We're not talking about his gender preferences here. We're talking about his, I think it's Buttigieg or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, I mean, obviously he got the job so that we can pretend to be diverse, like everyone else in the Biden administration. Who the guy with the lipstick who was arrested at the airport for stealing luggage and all this other stuff. It's like, you're a government official, you're stealing luggage at the airport. Does that make any sense to anybody? But these are the people all the way from the vice presidency down the line. They brought people in that they want to pretend to be diverse about.
There's a dog over there acting
out. There's a pair of them, but they're on the other side of the creek. I don't think they're going to jump over here.
No.
So I'll leave them alone. But so he comes down there, and then he doesn't even want to talk about it. He wants to talk about how highway exits are racist because they divide communities. Yeah, aren't they supposed to divide communities? If you could just drive off the highway anywhere, there wouldn't be fences. I don't get what they're trying to accomplish. And as for, I don't know about conditions of the railroads. I do know, and that's Norfolk Southern. Yeah, Norfolk Southern. I know that most of the time railroads are constantly in a state of repairing tracks one into the other. You know a lot more about that than I do.
Yeah, I work for the railroad, and my brother also works for CSX, and he's on the rail gang.
Yeah.
And they constantly go to, because he's on the one that goes from state to state. And they constantly go from one state to the next repairing tracks. Yeah. Repairing tracks and repairing ties.
So it's in a constant state of being repaired.
Of being repaired, yeah. So, but they're saying on the news, the spin, of course, is Donald Trump's fault. President Donald
Yeah, I don't
Trump's
know how that falls
fault.
on him, but
Well, they said that when he was president, he passed a law about the brakes. I don't understand what that means, but he passed some law that restricts something on the brakes. Okay, let's say that is true. And that caused the derailment. Don't believe it, but let's just go with that for now. The pedophile in charge ain't been down there.
you're gonna get me in trouble again.
This is why I don't.
He's in Poland, just an ass.
He's in the Ukraine and in Poland.
Pretending that he wished he was Polish because he grew up in a Polish neighborhood
Yeah,
now.
sure he
instead
did.
of and I've heard Puerto Rican neighborhood, I've heard Jewish neighborhood. It changes constantly.
Yeah. Well, he's given billions of dollars so that they can fund their pension. He given billions of dollars in military equipment, yet in your own country, a city is being evacuated and the people can't even move back in there. I mean, people are there, but they shouldn't be living there. They said that they probably would have to just abandon the town totally.
And it goes further than that because you have to think about groundwater and things like that.
Yeah. And then Trump brought water in, and he brought in food and set up centers so people can go there to get warm, to get food, to get the water. They're talking about, oh, his water is not safe because they call it Trump water.
Who said that? The View? Does anyone still watch that?
And that also upset me because that lady Joy Bear, whatever her name is blaming the people in the community because they voted for Trump. Well, that's what you voted for. These are people in America that are in a hazardous environment and you don't care. Your hate goes so deep that you don't care that these people are possibly dying, all of these animals, and the air quality is bad, the groundwater is bad, and the groundwater runs into the Mississippi River, which can affect millions of other places or millions of other people.
People, wildlife.
Other people's water sources.
Water tables.
All you can say is, well, that's who you voted for. And then another thing that was said is, the government doesn't want to go there because it's like 95% white, that area, and they call it Trump country because when the presidential election was, they got like the majority of the vote went to Trump. So it's Trump country. 90+% is white. If that's true,
then I am being discriminated against.
Yeah.
I want my reparations.
So it's like, you say all this, you turn your back on your own people.
Everything's got to have a political agenda behind it, and people are real people are tired of that, from the media, from politicians. Another one that I heard was that they only had one person on the train, and I know that's not
that's not true. I know that can't be true from being a manager with the railroad.
Yeah, she used to run a rail yard.
Yeah, you cannot leave that yard with one person on that train. It has to be two. When you call a train, two people are called, and two people have to be on there. Unless one get off to throw the switch or something like that.
Yeah.
Two people are on that train, and they said that on a View. I didn't hear it anywhere else. They don't know what they're talking about. But my thing is, you're turning your back on your own people, and when I say your own people, your fellow Americans, you're turning your back on them. And saying that we shouldn't help white communities. Okay, this is a poor white community. You live in a rich white community. What's going to happen when something happens in your rich white community?
Oh, people who say stuff like that think they're indestructible. They think they're Teflon.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to happen to them until it does.
You turn your back on East Palestine. What's going to happen when it's your neighborhood, your little small town?
An example of that was made in V, actually. It's a film everybody really ought to pay attention to, V for Vendetta, and just how things are linked up in that film. Because you remember the one guy with the talk show, thought,
Yeah.
you know, it's no big deal. I can make a joke on the air, and nothing's going to happen to me because I'm a celebrity. Everybody knows who I am. Until they came and took him.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's everything is cool when it's happening to someone else, but the people who live by that credo, sooner or later it'll catch up with them.
Yeah, and then they were saying that the whole thing is a red flag because of that show White Noise.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's out on
it was
Netflix.
very similar.
Yeah, and they used that town. The people from that town were
Extras is what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, but the premise to the show is exactly what happened. So, I mean, I don't know all of that. All I know
Sure.
is we have our leadership, our current leadership
Is weak.
is a pedophile and a prostitute. And neither one
Oh man.
has been there. I mean, they didn't go to the border.
No, they
Neither
still
one.
never really went
No,
to the
I mean,
border.
Biden got closer to the border than Harris. I mean,
Even though he claimed to have been there several times, but you know
Yeah.
that was fact checked. That
Yeah, he
he's
ain't never been
actually
nowhere.
in his entire career.
But
He's never been there.
they haven't gone there. They haven't sent money there. They haven't sent aid or anything. The National Guard is run by the state government, so all of the governor can call up the National Guard at any time.
Sure.
So you can't say, oh well, pedophile called in the National Guard. Okay, I'm gonna quit using it because I don't want you to get
you're gonna get me
banned.
another strike.
I know I don't want you to get a strike. Biden called in the national. No, he didn't. The governor called in the National Guard. You know.
Yeah.
So I just thought, and I think that's
And
real.
For the record, folks, I mean, I once on the Coffee Talk channel got a full warning and suspension for mentioning the PBS show Arthur and talking about that show.
Yeah.
Just for the record, how weird it can get in ScrewTube.
Yeah. But I just thought, and I still think that's crazy, and I don't like that people are turning their backs on that community because again, just like that old saying says, during the World War II, they didn't come. They came for this
that
group,
famous
but
poem.
I wasn't
Yeah.
a part of that group. They came for this group, but I wasn't a part. Then they came for me, and
was no
nobody
one
was
left.
there to stand up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming for East Palestine. They're coming for East, this part, and nobody's doing nothing. And when they come for you, nobody's going to be left.
And
So-
while they've got us at each other's throats
Yeah.
over how light or dark we are.
Yeah.
It's a huge distraction, folks. There's not that much of a difference. And anybody who has ever actually studied biology, you know that with the way that melanin works, technically all of us are brown, just different shades.
Just different shades.
Just different shades. But they've, and we were watching that fade away in this country until about the Obama administration.
Oh,
and
he
now
brought
it's
that back strong.
Now it's back.
Yeah.
And it's something we could do without. We got to quit fighting over petty garbage and wake up to how we're being manipulated.
Yeah, and they're distracting us with UFOs. I mean, how many times the government get on the news and tell you what's going on? Soon as those generals got up and started explaining what they were seeing,
Yeah.
I was like, nah, that's not true. Because they don't tell you the truth about anything.
Yeah.
So, okay, you shot down some weather balloons or whatever those things were. I don't believe nothing that you say,
Yeah. We don't know.
So how do I know you didn't put it up there and said that it was China? You can't trust it. And it's also, again, I believe that was a distraction. And I told David when it happened, what are they trying to get us to not look at?
Yeah.
Because they always bring something up when they want you to look away. As soon as they bring something up, you say, okay, ask yourself, what are they trying to get me to not look at? And start looking around. And you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And I think
But-
what happened in Ohio is something that we weren't supposed to notice, but they botched it.
Yeah, they botched it
Basically.
when they arrested the journalist.
That's right.
They arrested that journalist.
And they shouldn't have burned it. That's really, really unusual for them
Yeah.
to try to burn a containment.
And also, what also messed them, if they didn't want people to be aware, if they wanted to cover it up, they should have covered it. Have every news outlet out there reporting 24 hours a day. Send help. Then people will be like, "Oh, okay, cool. They got it all under control."
Either that, or people will be like, "Oh, if the government's that involved, it can't be real."
But people
Basically.
wouldn't have been if they had did at least hurricane or tornado level rescue. People would have turned away. People
We
would
don't
have
have
been
any
like,
money left. We gave it all to the Ukraine fund.
yeah, so they can fund their pension.
We're up to what, 31 billion now?
31, I don't know,
in the
but
hole.
it
It's
is
crazy.
some upper
'Cause it
billions
was just
of
another
dollars.
couple of billion recently.
Yeah, but that's
Your,
what.
your tax dollars at work, folks.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Thoughts? Anybody have any opinions about what's going on out there? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you get something from that. We hope that you do. Share it if you can. Probably the only way it will get seen. Again, both the channels Coffee Talk and Prepper University very oppressed, which has been, again, very discouraging. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of the other videos. You know the routine. If you saw a couple of random cat images, they're strays that my wife and I take care of, and images of them do actually help with the loading algorithm. It's a tip given to us by a viewer some time ago, and it actually works. We've gone from like taking 8-10 hours to get a video loaded and processed to like under 20 minutes. If you wanted to help the channel out, or the stray cats for that matter, there are links for that down below. Every little bit helps, and we sure do appreciate it. And if that's it, then what more can I say but stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.